ago, somebody asked me what got me into this business. In fact, it seems like it was just this morning. You know, it's kind of hard for me to stand up here for you guys and say for 8 minutes what a realtor does. I mean, I think you guys all know what real estate is all about. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how I got into the business. Most of you guys may or may not know that I was the third of 7 children with my mom and my dad for the first 9 years. So my mom had 7 children in 9 years, and then they got divorced from Minnesota, moved over here. My mom did to Lake Oswego because that's where her parents were, so I was raised in Lake Oswego, born in Minnesota. Born on a 40-acre plot of land in a house that was half the size of this entire room here. We had no plumbing, so we had our outhouse, and we had to go outside to pump for water. And this is in Minnesota. You prime it and then unprime it during the wintertime. But being the third of 7 kids, the reason I bring this up is being the third of 7 kids, and in situations like that, I was the one who was the peacemaker. I was the one who learned the mistakes from my elder siblings, figured out how to get away with things and not get caught, and then also was the one to protect all my sisters. I had 5 sisters and 1 brother. So I became the person who they depended on a lot. A lot of my family comes to me when they have problems. I don't know why, but I have problems too, and nobody share them with me. No, so I was always the one people came to with problems. I started out, I ran away from home when I was 14 years old. I've been on my own ever since then, which is fine and dandy. I got into the Navy when I was 21 years old. I became, originally I went in as a sonar tech for ships, and then during that I changed to an ET, which is electronic tech, which was still for ships, and then during the boot camp I changed to CT, which is cryptographic technician. And I can tell you it's been past 25 years now, so I can tell you what I did is I went out on special trips only on submarines, and we just listened. And all I did though was repair the devices as they went bad, the radio equipment, the recording equipment and stuff like that. So my job was really fairly boring. For 2 months I'd sit on a boat doing nothing except reading a lot of books and smoking a lot of cigarettes. Submarines are called boats. The reason I went on boats is because I do not know how to swim. You can't be thrown overboard on a submarine. So I decided I'm going submarine, so I can't be thrown overboard. If it's going down, everybody's going down. So I was in that for 7 years, and then when I got out, I started off in paging. Started off as just a pager technician, cleaning pagers, and within probably 6 months, moved myself all the way up to a technician. So for 15 years, I went from technician to lead technician to technical manager. The only way to advance in that company was to either kill somebody off in Hawaii, because nobody's going to leave, or move myself. So I moved to Florida to become a technical manager, and then moved from Florida to Louisiana to become a regional technical manager. And then that job brought me back up here to Pacific Northwest, where I thought I'd never come back to, as a regional technical manager, becoming my old and original boss's boss. So, we all know what happened to paging, right? Does anybody carry one anymore? Jose does, because he doesn't quite know the cellular phone yet. Believe it or not, some doctors still carry paging because they can't use the cell phones within the surgery departments, but they can receive their pages. So paging is still out there, but for the most part, it has died. I found myself at the age of 41 with no job. Because again, paging is dying. I'm so glad. Back then I regretted being the first one to go. I was one of 8 regional technical managers. I was being groomed for DTO, Director of Technical Operations, but with paging dying, they got rid of 4 of the 8 RTMs. I was one of them. I found myself for a year not knowing what I was going to do. I had the top secret clearance, I had all this experience, and I was applying throughout the whole world, entire world, for people to hire me. And again, with top secret clearance, you can go to different government agencies that are around the world. Nobody was responding. This is back in 2003. seen an ad in the paper. I was putting myself through school for project management certification, got that, nutritionist certification, got that. Seen an ad in the paper. I've been tired of putting myself through school, paying for it. Seen an ad for becoming a realtor, and the company would pay for me to become, take my license and become a realtor. It's not that expensive. I went and interviewed with the guy. Didn't think twice about it. Never thought about being in sales. I've never been in sales in my life, but except for being a shoe salesman many years ago, where I seen a lot of mini skirts. Then interviewed with the guy and found out that, okay, if I went with him, I would probably have to work for that company, which was a company that I won't mention, but the signs I've always seen in the past for that company were in front of the trashiest looking houses. So I said, no, but you know what, this still interests me. Let me go ahead and put myself through the school. So I put myself through the school, got my license, never thought I'd do anything with it again. I'm still sitting here with high hopes. I was a high-paid regional technical manager. I have all this knowledge. My knowledge could be used better somewhere else, right? But after taking my license, getting it, you have to hang it someplace. I interviewed to all the different companies out there, and just for something to do. Again, bored, put myself through school for a year, trying to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. The reason I got into real estate, the only thing that got me into real estate was Albertsons fried chicken. So a lot of you guys know this story. Some of you don't. Has anybody ever had Albertsons fried chicken? It's pretty good. And it's cheap. It's not as great as Kentucky Fried, of course, but it's cheap chicken. Went to Albertsons to get my chicken. Had just finished interviewing the last real estate office that I'd ever think I'd ever get into. Wanted fried chicken. The girl behind the counter started flirting with me, and I'm just sitting here thinking, I want my fried chicken. Give me my fried chicken. I want to go home and eat my chicken. And so she asked me what I did for a living. Of course, at 41 years old, I'm not going to tell everybody that I am a professional student. Put myself through school. So I just said, oh, I'm a realtor. She said, that's great. I'm getting a divorce. I need to sell my house. Can you give me your card? And I'm like, I'm a quick thinker, by the way. Dang it, I just ran out of cards. I can bring you one in a couple weeks. So I left, never thought about it again until I wanted fried chicken again. So before I could go back to get my fried chicken that would still be warm because it was close to my house, I had to go and hang my license, get temporary cards, go back and order my fried chicken and hang her a card. And I have been successful ever since, I think because of my upbringing, knowing how to solve problems for people, caring about people, and looking out after people. So I think that's one of the things that makes me stand out for a realtor is the way I do care about my clients.